There was a time when I was in college, and it was a private school that I went to, and the housing was like $400 a month or something like that. And I think I ended up missing that semester. I ended up missing about 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Kicking a bobo, just thinking I was working. Matter of fact, I had started working a commission job. Uh, and some weeks I would make $1,000 a week. And I was like, some weeks I make it. It was just, and then some weeks, you make minimum wage pretty much if you don't make commission. But anyway, I just kept shooting. Oh, that big day gonna come. It's gonna come. It's gonna come. And I'm not just blaming it on that situation with the fight with the job, but also it was selling papers. I was door to door sales with the Atlanta Journal, selling newspapers, subscriptions or whatever. And just man, that money gonna come. That money gonna come. That money gonna come. And me doing stupid stuff, even when I had decent weeks, I still would do stupid stuff with the money, saying that money gonna eventually come, that money gonna eventually come, or I pay the money with my income tax that comes in, not with my income tax or the school check or whatever. Long story short, though, the money didn't come, and it was getting rough. It was getting to the point like, man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like coming down to the last couple of weeks. Then it was about the last week, or you need to get up out of here. And then I reached out and called my dad. Called him, said, listen, man, I need $900. And my dad wasn't in a situation to do that. He wasn't in a situation to, like, man, well, you know what he said? He said, man, why didn't you call me earlier? Why you didn't talk to me earlier? Why you let it get to this point where you like and where you $900 in the hole? And it took a lot of humility for me to even call him. It took a lot of humility. I had to conjure up a lot of humility. I ain't have no other choice. I said, man, let me call him. Let me call him and see. But why did it take so long? And if I would have called him earlier, and I was just $300 behind, or I was just $150 behind, maybe I could have made the right decision. But and knowing that, I owe, knowing what he just did for me, maybe could have got me on, on a path where I'm not, I'm doing the right thing with the bread. But you 19, 20 years old, man, But anyway, I'm saying all that to say, what don't make you call? What holds you back from calling? Why do we wait to the last minute or the last moment before we cry out? And I'm referencing that in the spiritual realm. A lot of times we don't call the Father until we really deep in the hole. We don't call him. We're not crying out to him when it's first happening. And not that the Father can't. He do all things, like he can bring you back from anything. But I just want to look at that. I just want us to look at what takes us so long to cry out? What takes us so long to ask for prayer? What takes us so long to ask others for help? And some help ain't just financial. Some help is in the spiritual realm. Man, I need all of us. I need all the saints crying out. Why do we wait to the last moment? And I had to examine, in order to figure that out, I had to examine that situation in college of me crying out to my Father and what it took for me to cry out. Some of us are too ashamed of our storm to cry out to God. Too ashamed of our storm to, ask saints to cry out um, to cry out for us, to cry out with us, too ashamed to ask for prayers. And I have to evaluate myself on these things too. It's a lot of storms that we deal with by ourselves, that we don't have to deal with in the body, not just in our body, but in Christ's body. Period. It's a lot of storms we deal with by ourselves, and a lot of times on YouTube we don't, we're not crying out when they first start sniffling. We're not asking for prayers on the common cold. But once they in ICU, once the doctors are coming in telling you that it ain't looking good, we cry out and we ask for these prayers. And understand, man, and again, it's because of that. It's because of that shame. If you even look at the disciples when they was in the midst of the storm, and they didn't wait till that boat sunk. Even though it kind of showed a lack of faith there, but and just in how I'm trying to use it now, just dealing with more so of the shame not allowing us to cry out, not allowing us not allowing us to ask for help, or keeping us where we're trying to do this thing on our own and trying to battle this thing on our own, and then we'll get on social media or we'll get somewhere else and we thinking everything just going sweet. We thinking that everybody's all right. And again, that's another, it's of course we know it's a false perception, but it's a false perception just on health, on mental health, on physical health. Because everybody's going to look for the perfect angle. Ain't nobody going to cry out about, my blood sugar up. You're most of all, man, they're in the emergency room and something about to get amputated or they got to go into surgery. And then we cry out when there's no point. There's nothing left to be ashamed of. I'm not ashamed of this and that and there's nothing left. And it's a little pride in there, and we a lot of times we don't even realize it, because we want people to see us a certain way. We want people to see us strong. We want people to see us in good light. But we all got thorns, and if you ain't going through something, you will. And I'm just giving this message to tell people, don't be so ashamed of that storm that you don't ask for help, that you don't cry out to the Father. Don't wait till the darn tornado is tossing the darn house. Don't wait till the tornado is tossing the house in the air like what's that movie, Wizard of Oz, and you spinning in the tornado and then you crying out. And it's never too late. You never too far gone to cry out. But, you may can save yourself, some anguish. You may can save yourself some pain, some tribulation, just by crying out, just by pleading to leadership or pleading to whatever brothers and sisters you feel are faithful and righteous to send those prayers up. Send those prayers up for you. And a lot of times we don't want to deal with that because we don't want people to see us in a certain manner. But even Christ asked Peter to go up and pray with him. Shalom, Israel.